Trump is basically, he has his FCC going after people that Trump doesn't like, people who tell the truth about Trump. So Jimmy Kimmel is one. Then you also have Trump's ICE is arresting politicians. These are Democrats, actually. They wanted to go see the ICE facility in New York, and I guess they're not being allowed, so they're just doing a sit-in. And again, this is all peaceful, and that's key. Keep it peaceful.
What's happening in this building and in places across this country is un-American. It is not what our democracy is supposed to be. We aren't supposed to kidnap immigrants. We aren't supposed to have masked police officers, secret police, kidnapping our neighbors. That is not the America we believe in. We came here to see the conditions, as Brad Lander, the great leader of ours here, and my colleagues here, to see the conditions that a judge said were inhumane and they wouldn't let us in. They duct taped the door. What are they hiding from us? Why can't we go in and see what they're doing to our neighbors? Separating mothers from their kids, arresting veterans who served in our wars, people like my cousins who work hard, who came here for freedom, and the White House took their freedom away. We will be back here time and time again, and I ask my fellow legislators across the country and my fellow Americans, this is the red alert we've been waiting for.
As he says, this is the red alert that we've been waiting for. I always want to stress, guys, that you are not alone. You can see people taking action, and I know right now there's a lot of Americans that are kind of confused of what's happening. It's happening so quickly, and you get these stories, and I'm trying to explain it to you. ICE seeks hundreds of new offices across the U.S. as agency expands. What it looks like to me is Trump's essentially building his, if you want to call it Gestapo or secret police or a bunch of masked goons, whatever you want to call these people. They're trying to expand. They're looking at, it says 10,000 new employees, 300 office sites nationwide. And it's important to, point out that the one politician was saying, hey, do we want a bunch of masked people running around arresting our neighbors? That's what we're talking about here. It's ridiculous. And, I have to put this all in context and explain like how this game is being played. So at the moment, I just saw this. Looks like ICE is trying to recruit people out of the Chicago police, meaning that Trump is sort of federalizing this whole, I guess you want to call it, enforcement system. So that's actually going to weaken local authorities, and that's sort of what Trump's doing, right? He's all about weakening local power, ignoring local power, and trying to just take over everything for himself, like act like a king per se, or emperor, if you want to call Trump, or tyrant. That's another word you can use, but he's trying to seize a lot of power, and we haven't seen something like this in history where you just have like this wild incompetence, wild corruption, and again, he's trying to expand the executive branch. So New Yorkers against ICE, and if you are in New York, let me know if what's going on in your neck of the woods. Like I said, I have friends in LA. I can see they're all upset about the action against Jimmy Kimmel, and you have to understand it's not just Kimmel. Financially, Kimmel's going to be fine. I want to make that really clear. He's going to be fine, but there's a lot of jobs and staffers that aren't going to be, right? It affects a lot of people, and this is something that, like, does Trump just have the authority to, well, I don't like jokes against me, and therefore you all lose your job? Is that the kind of new system that we're going to go into? And with his all ICE offices, the idea, and this is something they've been talking about before, is like, how quickly can we get the National Guard to wherever spot that we want to take? And all this stuff is frankly just a massive waste of money. I'm being frank with you guys, because instead of thinking like, hey, because Trump's point of view is, hey, let's spend all this money to build more prisons and let's get more people with guns and masks. Just think about this. Like, why don't we ever have, money to, say, hire more teachers? There's suddenly this massive urge, oh my God, we need 10,000 guys with guns and masks, right? Just what if we change the dialogue of like, hey, let's just get more teachers, right? Let's get more people out there to care. It's so crazy, this whole thing. And, I saw this recently in Korea, and I made several videos on this. You can find these. These were, I can look into the dates here, 8-9 months ago. Just happened in Korea, right? We had a basically crazy Trumper kind of person. His name was Yoon. It was basically Korean version of Trump. and he tried to do the whole martial law things. People took to the streets and ended it, basically. And this is essentially what you have to do is you have to expose the Trump people for who they are, because a big portion of it is arresting people without due process, basically just kidnapping people off the street. There's a video in particular, if you want to watch it, it's called Korea Yoon Impeachment and Special Forces Apology. What it ended up boiling down to is many of the soldiers, I mean, they took an oath to protect the people and the Constitution, and, they realized what they were doing was wrong. So many slow walked it, many apologized, for even participating in any of it whatsoever. And they were, often confused because it was a different situation. Now the ICE people, like, they're willingly going with Trump, just telling you what it is. In the Korean situation, it was the martial law thing was ordered so quickly. You're just the soldiers, like, I don't know what's going on. I'm so ordered to go down there. And then when you realize, like, wait, what am I doing attacking my own people and arresting my own stuff? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like they realized what was going on was wrong. And so it's just like the people showed up and there's like, hey, brothers and sisters, we're not your enemy. And this is sort of, why it's important to pay attention to lessons you can learn if you've never experienced this kind of stuff before. And Korea has a history of this thing, right? And this is why I always point this movie 1987, because once you go through this sort of like, Trumpy kind of stuff, basically, tyrant, dictatorship, and this movie's really, it's a historical movie. So it's about, true events. Basically, when did regular people decide, what, it's time for me to act? And this is another movie. I always recommend these movies. If you haven't seen them, it'll just put things in context. It's called 12/12 Today. It's a newer movie. Very, very important one. It shows how these people like Trump try to seize power. So please watch these if you get a chance. And, in our news, in USA, you hear this stuff, right? Disney capitulation over Jimmy Kimmel sparks fear for U.S. media under Donald Trump. And, Trump sues, it was like CBS. That was a whole thing with 60 Minutes, or he'll sue ABC. Oh, you said something I didn't like. That was Stephanopoulos. I remember these things. But it all boils down to Trump tries to maintain his image of, I'm running my TV show and you can't say anything bad about me. But that's a very terrible environment to go into, because what it does, it covers up his corruption. And I understand, people are going to talk about individual case here and there. But what it boils down to is if he takes control of the media and he can sick his, mass goons on anyone, it'll cover up his corruption. That's what this game is all about, right? So, for example, this was in the Wall Street Journal today. Trump's team explores government-backed manufacturing boost. And right now there's a fight among Trump people to get the money. I mean, this isn't obvious that this boils down to money. And so essentially what Trump's trying to do is extort money from other countries, be it Japan or Korea. So, for example, it's been on the news every day in Korea that Trump wants $350 billion in cash. I know, it's as ridiculous as it sounds. Like, that's been on our news. And it's like, what the heck is this? And, that's why they make it public, because people are like, why are we even talking to these people at all? This isn't really talked about enough, but I'm just mentioning it right now. I try to mention as much as I can the sovereign wealth fund thing, because people always ask, where does the tariff money going? That's what the fight is right now among Trump's people. Some of the farmer people, they're like, well, you should give that tariff money to me because, we need it, Trump, because you're basically screwing us. Or other people like Elon Musk are like, no, you should give the money to me because I'm going to build satellites so we can monitor everybody. Or other people are like, no, you should give money to me so I can, run everyone's data and keep everyone's health data and spy on people as much as I want. No, for real, like, all these people are surrounding Trump basically after money. And this ends up being big corruption thing. And pay attention to this stuff. It matters quite a bit. And I understand that, it's easy to get distracted on, lots of things going on because Trump's doing all sorts of stuff at all times, right? Like and that's why I'm gonna have to try to show you all of it, is if you try to speak out on this stuff, you don't want necessarily Trump to just be arresting people and silencing people. Then you have this was out today. I mean, this is always something. There's so much corruption. It's absolutely insane. Trump's crypto firm sold tokens to North Korea, Iran, and Russia, right? And we know the name of this stuff. It's just people, for whatever reason, turn a blind eye or put their head in the sand. If you're a Trumper, what they try to do, they try to blind you with like, hey, look at this racist thing over here. Hey, look at this racist thing over here. Like the last thing that I heard is they're trying to make some sort of special day of remembrance for Charlie Kirk, which is so ridiculous, this stuff. I mean, and while everyone's talking about Charlie Kirk this, Charlie Kirk that, Trump and his family are like, hey, let's make money off crypto. And someone asked in the comments recently, hey, Chris, what's the basic crypto thing? Give me some idea. I'll give you the basics of it. Think of it like casino chips, or think of a way of like being able to go around banks so you can do money laundering. That's essentially what it ends up being, right? It's just Mickey Mouse money. That's all it is. It's a big Ponzi. And if you set up these networks so you can like, hey, I'll give you this, casino chip, and you give me dollars. Who do you think ends up winning said things? Like all these people out there are always trying to sell you their ridiculous scams. They're also trying to do things to where they're like, hey, I got all of these, Mickey Mouse coins, essentially what it is. And can I use that for collateral to get dollars, like actual loans to buy stuff? And so Trump will change the laws to allow people to do that, to count the stuff as assets, to get loans to buy real assets. It's all a scam. It's the best way to say it's all a scam. Long story short, it's all a scam. And also, too, we're looking at crazy market bubble, which this is Bank of America keeps saying that. And you can see it in the numbers to where earnings of companies are slowing down, and this whole thing in the markets, because money matters, guys, is all based on the AI hype and robots, etc. If you haven't seen this movie, I know I'm recommending a lot of movies this time because I just, for those of you who, get up to speed, it helps to know history. This is why you teach history, so you learn from the mistakes of the past. This is an Enron movie. I don't talk about it all the time, but I probably should. It's called The Smartest Guys in the Room. And the point is that, stuff like this, just, I want to give you an example. Sure, it'll make news if, someone steals a candy bar or someone steals a purse from a department store. And I'm not, I'm not saying that it's good to steal stuff from a department store. I don't like it. In fact, I hate crime. But I just want to put it in perspective. Someone steals $1,000, $2,000 purse from the department store. Okay, just put it in money terms, like a couple $1,000s. Okay, I'm not saying it's right. I did not say that. I think we should enforce, the law. But what if someone steals your retirement? What if you lose $1 million in retirement, or whatever that ends up being, right? And then you multiply that by what? I don't remember how many people were in the Enron, but we'll just say 10,000 employees or whatever it was. Or, let's say Trump's like, hey, let's make it so that retirement money, because this is what also thing they're trying to do, pension, is make that so that the people are going to put your pension in Trump coins, like these kind of things. Like that's real money. I don't know how else to say it. That's like serious money. Same way that they, can cheat you on any certain number of consumer practices, be it like how they do mortgage loans or how to do home auto loans, these kind of things. Trump will figure out ways to grift all this stuff. And so I know we get distracted on what I would say like street level crime. And I'm not, again, I want to make it really clear. Yes, we should enforce, street level crime. I completely agree. But the white collar crime is the real big money. And someone stealing your house is way more important than, say, someone stealing a purse. They're equally important. You want to enforce that, but don't ignore white collar crime. And that's essentially what this ends up all being about. Trump's distracting you with a bunch of other things, and while they get away with white collar crime. And I just try to make it as clear as possible. So that's my thoughts on this. I know there's a lot going on, but just know that you're not alone. And I'll catch you all in the next video.